The countdown is on as we are getting closer to that first match of this World Cup. Thanks for being here. It's extra time on that free KHOU11 streaming app. On tonight's program, a local coach who used to train one of Team USA's more important players, and it's an insider's look at Houston's fan festival before the general public gets in. But right now, those final preparations continuing for Team USA. One theme from today's training, defense, and whether or not it can hold up against top competition. The U.S. has shown it can score, but on the other hand, questions remain regarding one key position. That's ahead in a full report from California, as well as the return of one key contributor. Also making news today, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton launching an investigation into FIFA over allegations fans have been misled about the location and quality of seats they purchased for World Cup matches here in Texas. That probe will examine whether FIFA violated Texas consumer protection laws after complaints that some ticket buyers were assigned seats with less desirable views, if you will, than originally represented at the time they bought them. At this point, it doesn't appear FIFA has responded. And here's an update on the biggest name in the sport. Lionel Messi expected to play in tonight's World Cup friendly match against Iceland in Alabama. His minutes, though, will be monitored, according to the Argentina coach. This after Messi missed out on Saturday's matchup in College Station due to a left hamstring injury. Argentina opens World Cup play June 16th against Algeria in Kansas City. And speaking of Messi, a funny or interesting post has been making waves across the internet, and here it is. Messi at Buc-ee's eating a brisket sandwich? This is a screenshot from a man saying his wife texted him that info. Again, Messi was recently in Texas, as we mentioned, but according to this post, Messi was seen eating at a Buc-ee's in Auburn, Alabama. We and the world still waiting for video proof, or at least a photo. And now on Extra Time, it's time to talk soccer with tonight's special guest. We call it The Kickoff. We are kicking things off with Ryan Pratt, head men's soccer coach at HCU. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so level of excitement right now. Where are you? Because the World Cup is finally here.
All-time high, so excited, can't wait. Houston's going to be, it's going to be a wonderful time.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's start with this. Favorite match, your favorite match, the one, and it doesn't just have to be Houston, it could be anywhere in the tournament. Which team or which match are you looking forward to most at this point?
Well, I think it'd be remiss if I didn't put these guys down there somehow.
USA, and why is that?
The host nation, expectations that we have within the camp, if you will, wanting to get ourselves into the knockout stage and advance pretty deep into the tournament. So we're excited to see how this goes.
All right, so is there another one? If it's not USA, because I have a feeling everyone's going to say USA.
Probably.
If it's not USA, what else? Who else? Which other game?
Maybe these guys here. And I'm going to put UK because I don't want to have to spell it all the way out. But England, if you will. Again, 1966 was the last time they won it. The expectations that those guys have in their camp and their country are off the charts. They haven't done really well the last 8 or so years they have. Probably not a big dip in their performances. So to see how they handle expectations and how they come back and how they perform this tournament is going to be very interesting to see.
And one player you have your eyes on, I imagine, is this one, Chris Richards, Team USA defender. You coached him, when he was a teenager?
Yeah.
Back in Alabama? At what age?
Yeah, he was about 14, I believe, and I think this is Chris right there.
Oh, wow, look at that.
There's a much younger version of myself right there, and so, yeah, it was, you never know how kids develop in soccer or sports in general, but he was a tall, skinny kid, and technically, tactically had everything that was there, but you just don't know how kids develop physically, and obviously he develops really well.
And now when you see him in a U.S. jersey, knowing that you played a small part of his story, how do you feel when you see him on the big stage and the big screens?
Well, I played a very small part, so let's be very realistic here. And I don't know if you would even consider it a part at all, but just to have that kind of connection, to have coached somebody in the World Cup at some point in their career is just really neat.
What is the person like, at least when you knew him way back when? Did he have these ideas of playing in the big time back then?
He always did. He always did. That was his goal, was to always be a pro, and he put himself in positions to do that, to accomplish that goal. He left Birmingham, moved to Dallas, and was a member of FC Dallas's program coming up, and then from there just kind of kept stepping the ladder up, and on we are to the national team now.
So again, this is from Birmingham, Alabama. What is the name of this group?
This is a Hoover Soccer Club right here, U14.
U14.
So he was 13 or 14 years old, roughly.
What did he have at that point that really stood out to you and thought, maybe you thought, we might have something here?
His technical ability, his ability to, his first touch, his passing, his vision, those kind of things that you could see were just a little bit a level above everybody else. And then on top of that, you take into the mentality and how he reads the game, the IQ. Even at that age, you could see he was just a little bit different and just a little bit better than some of the other guys in the team and in the state at that time.
And how did this group fare?
This is the state championship game in the state of Alabama.
So pretty well then, huh?
Yeah, we won.
You won.
Yeah, so.
And when was the last time you saw Chris?
In person?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, probably about 10 years ago, as he was at FC Dallas going into potentially college, but then never went to college and went on to the pro game. So it was probably about 8 to 10 years ago.
And how was it?
It was pretty neat. He was sitting about this far away from me, and I go up to him. I said, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" He says, "Coach!" And I was like, "Chris, I don't think. Are you sure you remember me?"
I think,
but he sure did. And so I don't know now, a big EPL star, if he's going to remember me now. But I still remember him at least.
And Chris has been dealing with an ankle injury. May 17th, I think he suffered it. Missed 2 games for Crystal Palace. If he can't go, how does that change things for the United States?
I don't know how that does. I hope he can go. Obviously,
he's such a big part of what they do, right?
I think Mauricio Pochettino hopes he can go too, because he is a big part of what we do, how we defend. As you can see, he's got a good stature about him. He's good in the air. But his technical ability and the way he reads the game are just really some of the things that we need in that center back position to kind of give us that calming nature, if you will. And in the possession, he provides the ability to make any pass that he wants.
And were those traits he had way back when you had
on a different level, but yes.
And with the matches coming to Houston, here they are. Which one in your mind should fans really think about attending if they have the opportunity? Which one here on this list do you say, if you could go to one match, this is the one I would recommend?
Well, it's hard not to say that you'd want to go watch Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal and Germany with all the things that they've accomplished. But the matchup here that has the 2 highest world rankings is this one right here. And this one would be a really great match to watch. Like in '94, the World Cup was here in the U.S. I watched Holland play Belgium, and it is a great time both before, during, and after the game as well. And so I would suggest watching that one.
So what were ticket prices like for that one?
I'll just tell you this, that I could afford a family of 6 for less than I can buy 1 ticket these days.
And when you look at this match right here, what do you think will be the deciding factor? Is it simply playing mistake-free soccer?
Well, you got a team in Holland who's very possession-oriented. So I think in that match, it'll be a little bit about how their possession, how they can capitalize on their possession, how Sweden defends and how they counterattack from that point will be the case. But you're looking at a team here in Holland that beat us, the U.S., in the last World Cup to advance to the quarterfinals and then lost in that match. But they'll be ready to go for some revenge.
And now let's move on to this, your HCU program. 11 wins, you advance to the Ohio Valley Conference Final, losing to Lindenwood in PKs. 7 months have passed. What stands out to you about the group you just had and the season you just had?
I think you mentioned this year's final. We also made it to last year's final. And so what stands out is the opportunity and the ability to lose in a final in 24. Kind of retool yourself, rebuild, if you will, and then put yourself in a position to be in the final in 25. And we feel like we are unbelievably motivated to make another run and get back into the final in 26 and then see what happens at that point too.
How many players have you lost, however, from that group?
From last year's team, we didn't lose a bunch. We lost, I think, maybe 3 or 4 starters, which in this day and age, only 2 of those were seniors and 2 of them were transfer portal guys, which if we have a segment on that, we could talk for days.
I don't know if we have enough time for that.
I don't think we do. But with that being said, we've gotten a lot of guys that came in the spring that helped us, and we have guys that are going to join us in August, so we are really excited about the group that we've brought in for this coming fall.
What is the style that HCU likes to play?
Every coach is going to tell you that they want to be a possession-based team. Not everybody's telling you the truth. But I will tell you this, that with the metrics that we all have and what have you, we played 19 games last fall. In 15 of those 19, we outpossessed our opponent. And so we are a possession-based style team. We build out of the back through our goalkeeper all the time, in every moment. And so that's how we are in possession. We are a fun team to watch in possession, I believe. Out of possession, we are going to high press you when the moment is there, and we are going to turn you over. The goal that we scored against Liberty in the semifinals of the OVC was off of a turnover that we created from our high press. And so we can score goals in different ways, but we're a fun team to watch play in possession and a fun team to watch play out of possession as well.
For those who aren't familiar with men's college soccer in the state of Texas, HCU's in the OVC. How and why?
I think the how is above my pay grade. Maybe the why too, but there are only 4 teams, 4 Division I men's soccer teams in Texas.
Which is unbelievable when you hear that.
3 of them play in the OVC. So ourselves and Incarnate Word and then UTRGV all in the Ohio Valley, and then SMU's in the ACC.
And how does that work with recruiting?
Recruiting we have great relationships with the Dynamo, with Austin FC, with FC Dallas, and so we try and recruit locally as much as we can. But everybody in the world and everybody in the country knows how good Houston soccer is, and they come here and try and get the talent away from us too. And
being in the OVC, I imagine that you've put a lot of miles on your teams. How has that been a factor, or is it a factor when it comes to college kids?
You know, I would say it used to be a factor. Playing games on Friday and Sunday was a massive factor when you're traveling up to St. Louis and into Illinois to play games almost back-to-back like that. Now the schedule is more Thursday, Sunday games, and so you have an extra day of travel in between. That's a little more day of rest and recovery, so it's a little bit easier. And then now, I don't know if you know this or not, but they're about to vote on taking men's soccer season into a semester model into a 2-semester model, which will definitely take the stress off of everybody.
And how do you feel about that?
Can't wait. I'm so excited about that.
He is Ryan Pratt, head men's soccer coach at HCU. Thanks for joining us here on Extra Time. Appreciate all of your knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
And we are not done talking World Cup. This, a live look at the fan festival in EaDo. Ahead, it's what to expect when you walk inside there for the first time. Also on this program,
the United States men's national team is closing in on their first World Cup match of 2026 this Friday. A report from Irvine, California, coming up.
Together for the first time, the U.S. men's national team had its full 26-man roster together on Tuesday, which is good news when it comes to injuries. Also, one key position battle could help define this World Cup run, as Jake Garriani reports from Irvine.
Well, back in 2022, the United States were only able to score 3 goals in their 4 World Cup matches. And even though those goals were few and far between, the Americans advanced out of the group stage before being eliminated in the knockout round. Now, that lack of goal scoring here in 2026 feels like a thing of the past. This current squad has shown the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. So now the attention turns to that back line. Can this team lock down on defense? They haven't necessarily shown shown that so far. But they did get good news earlier this week. Chris Richards, their star defender, back on the pitch. How could he help this defense moving forward in this World Cup?
I think it's no secret Chris is a really important player for this team, but anybody whose number is called understands the demands of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to play. There's little small details that will make a big difference for us, especially defending the box. I think we haven't had a clean sheet in a while.
Not happy with goals conceded. I think that's always a big one that everybody, including ourselves, will look at. We'll look at areas and make sure that everything's tightened and buttoned up going into Friday.
We have a really, really deep squad. Starters, subs, whatever it is. We just feel like we can be really dangerous in all areas of attack, whether it's build-up, transition, or having the ball in opponent's half. So, yeah, we feel a bit more complete.
And one very large question still remains for this United States men's national team. Mauricio Pochettino waiting till the 11th hour to name a starting goalkeeper. Will it be Matt Turner or Matt Freese?
You dream of this opportunity, you work for the opportunity, but you never know if it's going to come. The ones that work hard without the promise of reward are the ones that usually succeed.
I think the coach will always pick the guy that's playing the best, and he's going to make the right decision for the team. And whatever my role is going to be, I'm going to be ready to do it to the best of my ability.
In Irvine, California, with the United States men's national team, I'm Jake Ariani.
And this U.S. roster believed to be one of the more stacked ones in recent history. One key player is midfielder Weston McKennie, known for his tenacity and tactical ability. And that's not all, because Alicia Lewis has more on a player you need to know.
Keep a close eye on Weston McKennie. He's definitely a player to watch. This Texas native grew up playing both soccer and American football and is now a midfielder for Juventus FC out of Italy. The 27-year-old who's representing the U.S. has 12 international goals coming into the tournament and is on his way to having his best goal-scoring season of his career. McKennie's a massive Harry Potter fan. He has a lightning bolt tattooed on his finger to represent a magic spell. And he's known for his iconic magic wand goal celebration. Off the pitch, he writes music, taught himself to play piano, and says that he's obsessed with ranch dressing, especially on pizza.
And let's take another live look at our camera high above the FIFA Fan Festival. Pretty soon this will become one of the premier spots in Houston. Tonight is an official soft launch for media and volunteers, and one of the reporters there, Anieli Ruiz, who's experiencing all of it for the first time.
Hey guys, we're at FanFest for the big preview. We're so excited. The World Cup is almost here, but I'm telling you guys, it feels like it's happening today. Everybody's wearing their jerseys. I can feel the excitement. The World Cup fever is officially here. And of course, I want to walk you guys through exactly what you can expect. Now, we're inside one of the Houston halls where they have a lot of cool activations. And here to talk about those is Patty Smith. I know you've been working very hard to put this all together. So Patty, what can people expect when they come here inside this food hall?
Just inside Houston Hall. So Houston Hall was really where we wanted to showcase who we are as a city, who is Houston. And we really wanted to do that throughout our entire Fan Fest with our diverse food options, with the entertainment we put on our stage, with all the things that Houston is. But in here, we labeled it Houston Hall because we have partnered with Space Center Houston.
And that's back here, right?
They've got the activation back here. They brought in some lunar modules, and you can see the moon and the Earth, and there's a spot that you can put your hand on a lunar rock, Mars meteorite, and your feet are on Earth, so you're touching basically 3 planets at the same time. We've got art cars and
maybe we can walk this way.
Happily. We've got art cars and the whole kind of urban 713 vibe with slabs and the Be Someone sign up there on the wall. And we just got with this art car community, and actually I talked to them like right after the art car parade. To me, when you think about Houston, the most iconic thing in Houston to me is the Astrodome, the 8th wonder of the world. So if you go underneath here and look up, this is basically our tip of the cap to the Astrodome.
Very cool.
So we're standing under that right now.
And last question, and most important question is, who do you think is going to win it all?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I have to like be a homer and say the USA, but that's not who I picked in the bracket. I think I actually picked Argentina.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Patty, for obviously walking us through this. And again, if you guys want more information, we're going to have their link on our website, also with more details. So be sure to stay with KHOU, where we'll bring you live updates, the latest information, and what you need to know when you're coming out here. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Aniele and Patty. Also, a large portion of Houston is locked in for Mexico's opener on Thursday. We are breaking down the roster from the new blood to a familiar face beloved by an entire nation. Mexico's World Cup roster has a little bit of everything. A legend chasing history and a teenager chasing his dream. KHOU 11's Jalissa Garza heading to Instagram to share this story.
One of the best parts of the World Cup is the storylines, and Mexico's roster has two good ones. Let's talk about them. Goalkeeper Guillermo "Memo" Ochoa is set for his 6th World Cup, putting him in rare company with Messi and Ronaldo. And that's not the only big storyline on Mexico's roster. 17-year-old Ochoa and Mora could become the youngest Mexican player to appear in a World Cup. From a legendary veteran to one of the youngest names to watch, those are the kinds of storylines that make the World Cup fun before the matches even start.
Without a doubt. And for those new to the game, we are here for you with what you need to know when looking at what it takes to keep a game going and on time. Halftime, full time. How the clock works all of the time is the focus of this Soccer 101 with Joe Trahan.
A standard match is 90 minutes, split into two 45-minute halves, plus what is called stoppage time at the end of each 45-minute half. Unlike most American sports, the clock actually counts up from 0, and it doesn't stop for every whistle. But the play on the field does pause for injuries, substitutions, goals, time wasting, and other factors. That lost time doesn't just disappear, though. At the end of each half, the referee adds stoppage time, sometimes called added time. You'll see the fourth official hold up a board, maybe a +3, a +5, even a +8 minutes, representing the time that was lost during that half. So the game doesn't end at exactly 90 minutes. It ends when the referee decides that added time has fully been played. So it's 45 minutes plus stoppage time, then another 45 minutes plus stoppage time. Most games finish somewhere between 95 and 100 minutes total.
Thank you, Joe. As far as our time, it's now up here on Extra Time. Thanks again to Ryan Pratt from HCU for coming in. We'll see you all again tomorrow night on the free KHOU 11 streaming app. Until then, once again, it is the FIFA Fan Festival in EaDo as we are counting down to the first match of the World Cup everywhere and here in Houston.